Bienvenidos al Teatro Monumental de Madrid. Los conciertos de esta semana están dedicados al compositor Karol Szymanowski, máximo exponente de la música polaca de principios del siglo XX. Vamos a poder escuchar su tercera sinfonía y el concierto para violín y orquesta número 1, opus 35, que va a interpretar el solista de violín Benjamin Schmid. Benjamin, bienvenido, welcome. Es un placer recibirte otra vez en nuestra orquesta. ¿Cómo describirías la música de Szymanowski? How would you describe Szymanowski's music?
Impressionistic. Szymanowski created almost a new style more than 100 years ago with his violin concerto. He kind of broke with the common romanticism that was still there then. But he also didn't go into atonal music. He found something in between, which we can call impressionistic, also after all the painters of the time. I think that's a good terminology, and it's a very sensual piece. Of course, I love it. I've been playing it many years, and it is a piece that offers everything to a violinist because it's written in very high register, so we can get all these golden shimmering colors on the violin. And the orchestration is a miracle. Besides, the musical material is a miracle. It's a very, very beautiful piece full of fantasy and imagination.
Benjamin Schmid nació en Viena y entre sus galardones están los concursos Leopold Mozart, Yehudi Menuhin, Beethoven o Karl Flesch. Su repertorio se extiende en un periodo muy extenso, pero también es un apasionado de la música de jazz. Su pasión por el jazz le ha llevado a hacer grabaciones de varios discos. Por favor, Benjamin, háblame de ti como músico de jazz. Can you tell me about you like a jazz musician?
My second personality. Well, I don't know how everything happened, but it happened. I was raised as a normal classical violinist, of course, but always had this interest into jazz, and it is somehow another musical personality of mine. I think jazz music does function in a different way than classical music, and still there's a lot in common. I mean, we are only talking about good music or less good music, and of course jazz is one of the highest art forms in music, and I found many fields to play on. So I'm very happy to have access to both worlds because, you know, composition, something like this violin concerto, it's so perfect, it's so organized, it's so thought out. And then in jazz you have the moment of here and now, which comes into the music, which gives it spontaneity and which gives it humanity also, you know, because life is about improvisation as well. So I'm trying in a piece like Szymanowski to also play with the notes and not just play the notes. So I think the improvisation spirit always helps a musician.
Me gustaría preguntarte sobre tu magnífico Stradivarius. ¿En qué año fue hecho? I would like to ask you about your Stradivarius. Can you tell me a little bit?
Yes, it's a beautiful example of the so-called golden period Stradivarius. It's from 1718, so it became 300 years old 5 years ago in 2018 when I had my 50th birthday. So we celebrated together, and it's a real miracle every day to practice and to work on this piece of wood, which creates the most wonderful sounds. And I'm very thankful to my sponsors and try to bring on these exquisite sounds to the world of music. And I regard it as a gift and as a journey. I'm just a traveler on this violin that had so many other great players before me.
Has venido a nuestra orquesta en numerosas ocasiones. Quería preguntarte, para terminar, ¿cuál es el secreto de una larga carrera? What is the secret to having a long career? What do you think?
That's a tricky question, because I remember Itzhak Perlman telling if you're 40 and you still have a career, it's a miracle. Usually careers on the violin are quite short and young. So I guess it's all coming out of love for the music. That's the first thing, you know. It's a lifetime task and it remains interesting to play the Brahms concerto for the 100th time. You can always discover something new in the score, in a masterpiece that represents the highest cultural achievements of our age, of our centuries. So we are dealing with great material as classical musicians that keeps us alive and keeps me alive, and I'm just so fascinated by this instrument, by the violin. It's the instrument that can connect two sounds more beautiful than any other instrument. And I wonder myself how I still want to practice so much these days after 40, 50 years. But nothing makes me more happy and more balanced to have a good practicing or to listen to a great violinistic performance. For me, it's the miracle of humanity. So I guess it's coming out of an inner urge and inner love for music, for the violin. And then if you stay healthy, you know, you need to eat well on tour. I'm touring the world since many, many decades. So main thing is to stay healthy in your body and in your brain. So we're trying to do that.
Muchas gracias, estoy tomando nota. Bueno, muchísimas gracias a Benjamin Schmid y a ustedes, muchísimas gracias por seguirnos. Les dejamos con el concierto para violín y orquesta de Karol Szymanowski con Benjamin Schmid como solista de violín. Muchas gracias.